Welcome to New England, one of the country's hardest places to hunt mature white-tailed deer. From the vast forests of Maine and seacoast monsters to the suburban ghosts of Massachusetts, New England is a challenge unlike any other. This year I've made it a goal of mine to harvest a deer in at least 3 of these northern states. Enjoy watching as we take on these elusive animals that captivate our every thought and leave us with this deep ingrained passion inside our blood. This is the New England Slam.
That's 180, 190 pounds right there all day.
I just got the biggest buck in my life.
That is sweet. Oh, he's been rubbing.
Yeah.
Matt. Oh my god. I just killed daggers.
You want me to haul him for you?
Yee, brother.
Attaboy, get your exercise.
Today I'm going to be talking about the journey of the buck I call Moose. My target buck is showing up on camera in Massachusetts every day. Right now I'm in Unit M. Just seeing does, small bucks, nothing big. I have an island behind me.
Well, this is what I get for trying to chase big bucks in the suburbs. I had a angry neighbor. Well, he wasn't angry, but he ruined the hunt. He came out right at prime time, last hour of light, hour and a half, after I just had 2 bucks underneath me. And of course, the one doe that was near me, she ran off when he started coming down the field edge, and then came in the woods looking for me. And I was like, hey. And he's like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh, I just wanted to see who was parked there. I'm like, seriously? You couldn't wait till it was dark out? But it is what it is. It happens in the suburbs, and at least I got to see the 2 big bucks. Alrighty, today I'm going to be talking about the journey of the buck I call Moose. This buck kind of came into the light probably 5 months ago. Many of you guys know that I live in southern New Hampshire, so anything that's in Mass is pretty close. But I've been trying to kind of spread myself across all these different states doing the New England Slam, and this brought me to a couple of Facebook pages of different bucks being posted, and I'm like, whoa, those bucks are pretty big and a lot bigger than some of the ones in my area, just because of the age structure. Due to that fact, I started looking at surrounding towns of places that I could hunt, and then I ended up finding one that didn't have any bylaws. This was a huge advantage because in Massachusetts there's a lot of bylaws per town that you need either written permission, there's no guns, there's no bows, and you got to be the legal distance apart. I ended up doing a lot of scouting. I knocked about 180 doors to try to get this buck. My parents thought I was a little crazy driving 2 hours away trying to get permission to a deer. I basically was like trying to look for different places that had good sign. I ended up driving around a bunch of fields in this kind of suburban area, and I saw this deer. When I saw this deer, and I think it was early spring, I knew immediately that he would probably not stay in that area, but I saw that he had huge bases. I would end up periodically going back and trying to find where they would go in the summer, and there was a bachelor group. Due to that fact, I started to freak out a little bit, and that kind of started the journey of when I saw that deer in this field, and I just became obsessed with him. Over the course of the next month or two in the summer, June, July, August, I would spend 1 to 3 times going down to this area to go film him. Try to get a glimpse of where he was coming in and out of these fields. I knew that he wouldn't stay on this summer pattern forever, but I wanted a general location that I knew when he was going from point A to point B. And understanding that, I started to scout and knock 1,000,000 doors specifically for that one deer. And that's what I would tell people, is I just want that one deer. I don't need any other deer. And that helped me get permission to a lot of places that I don't think I would be able to. Do not be afraid to knock doors. I just knocked this guy's door. Actually, I didn't even need to. He was outside, so I talked to him. And he's like, oh yeah, I used to bow hunt. I thought about doing it back there. Speaking of that, I just spooked a buck, or a deer. He was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Hunt back there whenever you want. They're eating my garden. And I was like, let's go, because there's a giant, 138 point here, which, for the suburbs is great. So now I got the permission I need. Now I just need to get ready to freaking slay one. So, the following couple weeks, I started to film this buck. I found out what field he was in by just driving down someone's driveway to turn around to get permission, and I ended up seeing him in this little backyard. And that's when it all clicked to me that that was a place that was landlocked, that nobody else would be able to get access to unless they knocked on doors, got permission, and had to be that legal distance of 500 feet from a house. So due to that, my mind started racing of what I was going to do, and I started to knock doors everywhere, basically do chores for them to get hunting permission. And as I put up trail cameras, got permission to do that. I would come back in a couple weeks and I'd get hunting permission if they trusted me enough. I'd start to send them photos of the deer so they could understand, or maybe not necessarily the one I was after, but another one, just so they could get excited in the journey that I was also on. Hunting in the suburbs is good for me due to a lot of back pain, and I can't hike in as deep as I used to on the public, but it's a scenario where I know the age class of bucks and the genetics in this certain area were good, and I was willing to put in all that gas and that time to go find this specific deer. He might not necessarily be the biggest scoring deer, but just the character of this deer. It had palmation, it had beautiful tines, it had giant brow tines. It was a non-typical, and this deer was pushing 200 pounds at this time when I saw him. You could see this deer was just genetically a freak and just fat. And compared to a 3-year-old next to him, he just dwarfed him. And as I filmed this deer, I got a good look at him in this person's backyard. I'm like, okay, I'm set, and I decided to knock all those doors. And I ended up getting the one place that I needed to park. In the course of doing that, I went in, I scouted, I put a trail camera down. My first year using cell cameras, that was something that was crucial to me. A lot of people say that they use trail cameras just for cool videos and things like that, but it is a tool that you can use to find out when bucks are in an area. Trail cameras are different versus cell cameras because cell cameras, it's instant information. In the state of Massachusetts, you can use that information pretty quickly and learn a pattern of a deer, instead of in New Hampshire where you have to wait a 24-hour period with a new rule. So in Massachusetts, I got all these photos of this deer. I probably had 800 photos of this specific deer. I'd bring them home, I'd show my parents, I'd send them to a couple buddies, but I didn't show them on social media for obvious reasons. Not necessarily that it was a buck of a lifetime for some people when it comes to like a 160 plus, but this deer had unique character and probably would be easily recognized, as well as the location in the background. Due to this fact, I kept it pretty secret, and I wanted to really hunt this specific deer. I had hunted specific deer in the past, but never one that I had this much trail camera history with that had this small of a core range. I scouted every day. I ended up doing a couple sits just to check out, going up in my climber, a couple of these areas doing observational sits. Due to that fact, I knew exactly which white oaks they were feeding on. I knew where they were coming from bedding, and it was a pinch point in between this neighborhood where there's bedding on one side with a swamp, and then the other bedding was right next to a main road. And that just worked out perfectly because I knew that they were going to travel through that corridor either during the beginning or during the rut. And there was also a primary scrape area where there was about 15 scrapes, most of them being old with licking branches, but they were all within that probably 300-yard range. So I knew that that was that pocket where they were concentrated for the white oaks in the early season and then for the rut at the end. So when I did that, I got all my permission ready and just got in there, and this town didn't have bylaws about hunting on non-posted land, so I got access to cut through all these properties to get to this landlocked property. I ended up hiking miles around in each direction, seeing where he could be going, and I found dozens upon dozens of tree stands. So this buck in this area was being hunted pretty heavily. I just had to get away from that hunting pressure where I felt he was safe and maybe an overlooked location due to the fact that it was near this main road and a bedding area that most people wouldn't even think about if they didn't see this deer in person. Because of this, I started that journey for this buck that I call Moose, and I hope you guys enjoy this film of how I was able to get it done on opening morning. It's something that I've dreamed about my whole life. Alrighty everybody, so this is going to be one of the earlier times I've ever gotten to an area. I got out a little bit later than I wanted to, but it's still almost 2 hours before sunrise. I'm trying to get back in this buck's bedding area that I call Moose. He is a 140-inch class deer. He's got double brow tines, almost like a second main beam coming off, but it's double brow tines, and it's just super cool. And he's palmated. He's been getting past my camera at like 6:45 a.m. consistently for the last couple weeks in today's opening season. And there's been a couple other bucks that are passing the camera as well. So we're gonna see what happens, but I'm super pumped. I know that the odds of me shooting him or seeing him are very low, and he's sometimes in there at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. So I might spook him on the way in. If not, I'll skip a day and then go in the afternoon. But yeah, we'll see what happens. As this younger buck fed through the area, he came to about 25 yards, and I thought about shooting him while he was eating the white oaks, and I decided, no, I only have 2 tags in Massachusetts for bucks, and I want to hold out for this big one. And I really didn't have much time to get excited because it happened so fast. I had the 8-pointer that hangs out with him come behind my tree stand from the opposite direction that I was expecting, from the main road in the bedding area, not from the swamp bedding, which I thought they would come from. And as they did that, they were heading right where I wanted them to. I just didn't expect it at that time. Normally he was coming in at around 6:45 a.m. every morning, but they came around at like probably 7 o'clock. With that, it was just perfect timing. It was a beautiful time that I could be able to see this buck come up. So it happened extremely fast. I pulled back my bow before I even got to full draw. I said, "Meow, meow, meow," and he just comes walking past, and he looks up at me. He's quartering away, and I just pull the trigger, and I just see it bury all the way to the fletchings, and it just popped. The deer didn't duck at all. He just kind of froze up and then ran away, and I saw his tail wagging back and forth, and I started to worry. Usually when a deer gets hit, their tail is tucked, and that's usually a bad sign. Alright, it's 7:12. I'm going to give that buck at least 12 hours. Just because he ran down towards a main road, and I drove past the main road. He's not there, so I know which patch of woods he's gonna go in. It's really small. I'm gonna call my dad right now and tell him what happened. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I killed the biggest buck of my life.
No way.
Yeah, I'm recording right now on my camera of us talking.
No way.
So a little buck came in, and he fed on the white oak tree, like all the acorns on the ground. I could hear him like chomping and stuff. Filmed him for like 20 minutes, and I just hear and I'm like, oh, maybe that's like a squirrel. And I keep looking around, checking behind me, because it keeps coming from down the hill. And I was like, I wonder what that is. And I was like, it sounds like a squirrel, but I don't know. didn't hear anything. Then the tiny buck that's in front of me runs off, and he runs towards the field, not because he's scared, just because he's like, looks back at something, and so I'm like, oh, maybe something's coming then. And then behind me, I look across, so he comes out directly behind me and probably 20 yards away, and I was like, oh crap, that's too far of a shot if another buck comes. And then I look back and I just see this giant rack, like whoosh, 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 whoosh. And I know that it's the buck, the big one with like 4 brow tines or whatever. And I try to get, of course my camera's on the other side of the tree, so I pull it around and I zoom it all the way out so at least I can get me of the shot and like the volume of hearing it, just in case I don't get it on film. And I pull back my bow as fast as possible, and I stopped him, and he's like, what the fetch was that? And he looks back at me and he turns broadside, which was perfect, but he was quartering away, like looking away from me almost. So I put it like a little bit behind his back right leg, and I saw it go through him. Well, not go through him, but I saw it like dig into his body all the way to the fletching, and he ran off, and it was like a 15-20 yard shot, and I saw him run off, and then I thought I heard a crash, but I went to the site and the arrow's not there, so the arrow's in him.
Wow. So did you find him yet, or?
No, I'm gonna give him like 12 hours and go back tonight. Especially since it's that parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too excited because it wasn't a very good shot, but it's an arrow in him, and that's the one I've been waiting for all season, so.
Did you get told to help you?
I could, but it's gonna be all downhill, so it's not gonna be hard.
I'm just thinking if it's that big, is it going to fit in your car?
Yeah, I don't know, he's pretty big. I mean, that's the last thing I need to worry about. I need to see if he's dead first.
Yeah.
If he's dead, then I can call Cole and call him Larry Rankin the goat. If he answers, he's usually an early bird. He goes to bed early and wakes up early. Come on, Larry. I guess it is pretty early in the morning.
Hello, you've reached Larry Rankin.
Just killed the biggest buck of my life.
Nice job.
So, we'll see if, oh, there's 2 deer running across the street right now. Well, I got an arrow in him at least, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but...
Good.
Alrighty.
You got any pictures of him?
On trail camera?
Yeah. Picture?
Yeah, he's the one I sent you with like 4 brow tines.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so he's the big one that I've been waiting for.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, so I'm just calling people, and then I'm gonna go look for him before I get too excited.
So, make sure you don't jump him.
Oh, I'm giving him like 12 hours.
Gotcha.
Anyways, but...
Alrighty. Go kill him, send me a picture.
Sounds good. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I said, what did you do? Shoot a big buck?
Yep, the 140-inch one I've been after.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I figured I'd call you if I'm gonna give him like 12 hours or something crazy, because he's there's no coyotes in the area, so.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
Thanks. Well, don't congratulate me yet. It was a piss poor shot, so.
Yeah, where did you shoot? Where do you think you shot it?
I think I honestly went through guts into one lung, because
Okay.
he was...
So you didn't find the arrow or anything?
No, it's definitely in him, but it's all the way into the fletching, because I saw the fletching like disappear.
Oh, yeah, so that brought it in there, grinding them up, dude.
Yeah, if it... But,
Nice.
yeah, it was not a very good entry, but hopefully the exit, or like... That's good. I thought I heard him crash, but I don't want to risk it. There's no need to bump him.
Yeah, what's the temp out today?
Freaking hot, dude. I heard if a buck's not dead, it doesn't matter how long you let him, like, say if you gut shot a deer and it lives 12 hours, the meat doesn't spoil because he's still alive for 10 of it, so.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it'll be fine, but.
Yeah, gonna be a little stanky. That's alright though. Hey, whatever.
Yeah. So if he doesn't fit in my trunk, I was gonna ask if you wanted to come assist.
Yeah. Yeah, give me.
Good morning, what can I get for you today?
Can I get a vanilla bean culotta with whipped cream? And then can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a plane?
I'll bacon, egg, and cheese on a plane, is that all?
Yep.
All right, 10:04, have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much. Gotta get that nourishment after you shoot a big buck, just in case it doesn't work out. I couldn't wait any longer than 6 hours, so I decided to go check. Yes, I did get a pass through. Didn't think I did. Size of that thing. Oh my gosh. That shot was perfect on the exit. Look at all the bark. No broken points. I tried to drag him by myself, but only could get 15 yards because he was 200 pounds. How hard of a drag was that, Cole?
It's a drag.
I'm sweating balls, I'm fat. Cole's like, I'm out of shape. But at least he's skinny. He's freaking, we're falling over in mud. Like, look at my shoes. These were white today.
Okay.
Alright, let's go. That was one of the worst drags. He's massive. He's probably 180 pounds. He was over 200 probably with the guts in him. We had to bring him through a river and then out through. Whew. That was interesting. That'll work. Want to introduce yourself?
Connor.
Connor's helping me out. He's got a walk-in freezer on an unknown location.
Super unknown.
I'm gonna lift this bad boy up and cape him out. Wicked pissa. That's a heavy deer. Sheesh. You can go up.
Do you want to work it down, or you want it all the way up first?
Let's go up. I can reach up there. Dude! Hold that puppy up.
Hold that puppy up.
You videoing or? Okay. Check out this hog. We don't know what it weighs, we don't have a scale, but we're guessing 180, 200, something.
Who cares? Really. It's just a freak of a deer. Like, look at the brows on that. Bladed on the back end. Still got velvet on a bunch of points. And just thick. And thick. Dump truck. We're gonna cape him out and everything, and we'll wrap it up.
Get in the cooler.
Some meat.
This is some redneck crap.
Well, we just finished doing all the dressing and hanging it up in the big walk-in freezer. Finally got it all done. Took quite a while, but man, I can't thank him enough because it was getting up to like 75 during the day this week, 80 degrees, so it's nice that a stranger basically could help me out through just like Instagram and networking. He's a really, really stand-up guy. I honestly thought he was in high school, but he's 27. So it worked out, and I couldn't be happier. The buck I call Moose, and I've been wanting to hunt that deer for so long, and to get him on opening day is just unreal.
Social media being so present nowadays, we look at all these big bucks killed in New England and think they're basically everywhere, which is far from the case. Most people have different jobs that can allow them to hunt more often, whether they're plumbers or different types of careers that they've chosen so they can be able to hunt more. Luckily, with my situation, I'm home right now. And I'm kind of not in the real world, if you will, so I have more time to hunt than the average person. I worked in the summer and made enough money that I could be able to last a little bit so I could be able to follow my passion and create these videos. I get pretty emotional about it because my parents know, and my friends and family know how much time I put into deer, and sometimes we put it above other things, and that's something that I've noticed, is that I need to have more of a balance and come to that realization that hunting is not just everything, but it is a huge part of my life, and the joy that I can find from it is something that I wouldn't get in any other scenario. It got me through being raised as someone that's religious in an area that's not extremely religious. It got me through losing friend groups because of the choices that I decided to not make. It got me through being kind of alone at a time where I needed Heavenly Father and other things, and the outdoors gave me that eye-opening experience that I can network and talk to other people, and that's why I make these videos. It's not something that I do for fame. It's not something that I do just to have a bunch of people see and try to make it my name in the industry. I'm doing this so I can meet new people, so I can share my love of the outdoors and for God, and use this as a platform to be able to work on my future career and what my dream job is. And I really appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to this story about this deer, and it's just, I can't believe that it all came to fruition and came true. Thank you so much for watching.